Let's talk about top decks. The X-Ray X4 comes with a one-piece long graphite top deck, which is 2 mm thick, and it looks like this. It's very easy to install on the car. Just slide it in from one side. And this top deck also gives you very easy access to the spur gear. So as you can see, the spur gear is very easy to access. You can just remove the 3 screws and change the spur gear in an instant, which is very important for maintenance and quick adjustments trackside. So let me demonstrate the flex options of the standard top deck. We have something new, which is called the limited flex screw, which are these steel screws which are included in the kit. You can install these screws here at the front and at the back of the center lay shaft to adjust the stiffness of the top deck. So for example, here we can add 2 screws, one at the front, one at the back. This setting gives you a medium stiffness, so it's a good balance between front and rear grip. But for example, you can add another screw here to the back to make the top deck stiffer towards the rear of the car. And this will improve rear stability, because the car will not flex and will not roll as much over the rear of the car. And you can go full stiff. You can add the 4th screw, which is another screw in the front part. So we have 4 of these screws installed at the center of the top deck. And this is the stiffest possible setting. It will give you the most free car with the least mechanical grip. Generally preferable for very high grip tracks or whenever you feel that the car is not responsive or just too flexible. But we can also remove all these screws, and we can use the traditional bearing, which goes in this little slot in the back. We have the bearing flex option, which is the same option as we had on the T4. So you can see here the top deck can move sideways, where the slot allows the bearing to move sideways, but it cannot move from front to back. So it maintains the stiffness in this direction, but it's very soft in this direction. And this gives you good benefits, for example, very good rotation, but you still maintain some forward traction from the car. So this is a little bit of a softer setting compared to the limited flex screws, but it's still a good compromise and a good starting point for a lot of conditions. And also, finally, we offered the little locker, as we call it, the aluminum piece which you put into the top deck, which completely takes away the flex. Yeah, you put that in there, and when you tighten this down, you remove all the flex from the rear part of the top deck for the stiffest possible setting, which is suggested mainly for stock racing or conditions where you need a faster direction change. But for modified racing, we usually prefer a bit softer top deck setting. So that's the kit top deck with the little aluminum piece installed for the stiffest setting. We also offer this top deck in a 1.6 mm thickness. So the softer top deck is generally preferable for racing on carpet with an aluminum chassis, because you can regain some flexibility in the top of the car that you lose from the stiffer chassis. So the softer 1.6 top deck is generally recommended for racing on carpet on low to medium grip, and it's a good option to the 2.0 mm kit top deck. And finally, we also offer something new in the X4, which is the 2-piece top decks, the split top decks. As you can see, they're different front and rear. We have a rear top deck, which is stiffer than the front one. And once again, we have different flex options here. The biggest difference with the split top deck is that the car gets a lot softer in the center area of the car, so around the lay shaft. And this is mainly useful for racing on asphalt, where you need more chassis flex to get the most mechanical grip. So we often prefer this option for asphalt racing. We also have the option to install these limited flex screws also in this top deck, because we have 4 holes for them right here, just like on the standard top deck. And the stiffest setting is of course to use 4 screws, but you can also choose to use just 1 on each end of the top decks, or 2 in the rear and 1 in the front, which gives you a good compromise between front grip and rear stability. Or just 1 single screw at each end, which gives you the most flexibility and the most mechanical grip. So this top deck option mainly recommended for asphalt, but definitely something new and something interesting to play with. And I think that's all the flex options covered for the X-Ray X4.